change the numbers, it destroys the elegance of the rules, but then you never have to have the negativity of fate dice.
Mm-hmm. We've adapted it to this another version of the card thing, so we use that. All right. So let me give you. I'm going to go ahead and start the broadcast.
Okay, there we go.
There you
I
go.
was trying the dice stream one. Yeah.
It's nice because you get the little images there. So
Yeah, the little graphic.
this is Guards of Abashan. This is a city guards on the beat fantasy game using fate. And we're using Roll20 essentially to keep track of fate points, and if we need to kind of track space and so on, aspects, that's where we'll kind of keep track of things there. If possible, I'll try to keep it more abstract and descriptive rather than having to move things necessarily around on the table. We'll see how that goes. If fate, essentially, if uses the 4 dice plus the skill value. You declare what you want to do. When actions are essentially big failures, marginal failures, ties, marginal success, and big success. Fate uses the system of aspects, meaning that one of the things that you can do is you can do in combat maneuvers to put aspects on things, to unbalance people, to change the environment, that kind of thing. We'll go through the mechanics of that in a bit, but I want to kind of get set here. What I'd like to start is actually I'm going to have you guys all roll for your fate dice and right now, and we'll kind of do that as a roll off for picks from high to low.
Okay.
Of course, we'll probably
God
do
damn
some.
it. Although compared to -2, -3, I can't really complain, so...
Brilliant roll already.
Okay.
What happened there? I was trying to roll 4. Never mind now.
You have to, when you're using dice stream, you have to clear it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Oh, okay.
it's added to the top. So just added like 4 dice to what you rolled.
Okay. I'll
So
clear that and try and... But it doesn't seem to be able to roll again.
Yeah, you have to put in the numbers in again.
okay.
Oh,
all
is
right.
the Fate Dice one that you're using, Lloyd, is that better?
That's actually in Roll20.
The Fate Roller one rolls it, but it rolls it in the Hangout and doesn't show on the screen. Dice Stream rolls in the and what's called Dice Stream rolls in the screen, and that one rolls it in Roll20. So it's up to you which one you want to use. Personally, I like the Fate Roller one because you just push one of the buttons and it automatically adds everything up for you, whatever your bonus is. But everyone is using Roll20, so let's all just use Roll20. Otherwise, it'd be weird.
Chris and Lloyd, can you roll again for the roll?
Hey, Chris. How about I tag the aspect of you just let me win? Is that okay? That was not what I wanted, Chris.
All right.
That was not. Oh.
So, Chris, there are 6 characters there. Cleric of Ink, the Elf Mage, Foreign Rogue, Gnome Brawler Healer, Precision Duelist, and the Slumming Noble Fighter. Which character do you wish?
I'll take the duelist.
Okay. Precision.
Damn! I knew it too! Son of a...
Alright. And you can edit the name on that. Lloyd, what about yourself?
Oh, I don't actually know. I'm gonna try and I think I'm gonna be lame and I'm gonna pick the Gnome Brawler Healer.
Gnome Brawler Healer. Alright. I'm going to put that there. So next pick is it? Let me check my numbers here. So it's going to be I think the -1. So it's so you get a -1. So it's Nathaniel.
I guess I'll go with the Slumming Noble Fighter.
Okay. All right. And then Stephen.
I guess I'll take the Foreign Rogue.
Okay. And Jason.
I'll take the Cleric of the Inky Fingers.
Okay. Alright. So when you pull that up, you will see on the first page of your journal there, there's a very basic outline of the background for the city. Essentially, this is an enormous desert bordering free city made up of multiple neighborhoods. It's ancient, it's been conquered, reconquered, deconquered, reconquered again over generations, and is a crossroads of peoples and races and civilizations and all of that. And you are city guards, and you are covering an area known as the Pit. Essentially, couple of decades ago, some people were excavating and essentially trying to hunt for treasure, and they managed to cause a massive sinkhole in one of the neighborhoods. Collapsed this giant section of the city, and since then, people have rebuilt areas there. Some buildings fell intact. Some areas were relatively preserved, but it has become kind of a slum and a hive of scum and villainy. And you are one of the guard units that is assigned to patrol over this area. You serve a figure known as a Sharl, who is in charge of the neighborhood, in charge of keeping things from getting burned down, in charge of keeping things from getting out of hand. And your particular guard unit competes with a couple of others, but you take orders from the sort of same sergeant. So, multiple different fantasy races, both common and uncommon, various hundreds of gods, different kinds of magicks, the very classic fantasy city. So think Lankmar, think Sanctuary, think Tanlorn, all of those classic fantasy places. One important detailed thing that shapes this place is that magic that gathers information doesn't work here. Scrying doesn't function. A lot of divine magic for gathering information doesn't function. And that's an important thing. It is a unique feature to this city, and it's has made it a refuge for a lot of people who want to escape magical detection, magical scrying, or even the direct gaze of various divine figures. So you can kind of glance through that. In each of those, on the second item has kind of a basic "Who are you?" that gives you a sense of what your character is like. One of the things you should do is you should give yourselves a new name, rather than the descriptor there, that you can put that in.
Would that be under ID?
Yeah, I believe if you type it in under ID, it should change it.
It's the thing at the very top of the screen, where you hit the edit button on the right.
Ah, the edit button. That's right. Thank you. And you changed the name
I remember
there.
from yesterday.
There we go. Okay.
Alright, new name.
And Cantankerous Tink. And that's the gnome.
Just think, please.
Okay, just Tink. Okay. And Istvan. Okay, and let's get those there. I've got those there recorded. All right, Father Duplicitous.
Is there a way to get rid of those huge icons in the middle of the screen there?
Yes. Go to Settings, the little wheel, and if you go down to Player Avatar Size, change those to Names Only.
That's much better. Much gooder. I can actually read the damn thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I do that sort of out of habit, so I forget to mention it.
It's all good.
Okay. And
Never used it before, so we're good.
Finley is the duelist.
Yes.
And Nikephoros.
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 Oh,
The stress is on the ah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nikephoros. All right. Are there any questions before we get started here? The skills are a little bit different than standard Fate Core, but the basics are that when you go to make a roll, you're rolling and adding the value that's associated with that particular skill. And you guys have your Fate level written there, the number of Fate points that you have. And
How do?
yes.
Why do we have so many stunts?
Because
just
it's a
hire
one-shot.
Okay.
Because fuck the police! Flips table. Stunts everywhere.
Yes. No,
You
because it's
get a
a
stunt.
one-shot.
You get a stunt.
Absolutely. And that's a fair enough question. That's I like stunts, so for a one-shot, it's more amusing to have more stunts, I think.
No, I love my blessings, so yeah.
Any other questions?
Could you or someone repeat how to get rid of the big icons in the roll?
Sure. There's a little gear wheel. The settings under the roll 20. So the
Okay.
last tab.
Yeah.
You hit that, and you scroll down to where it says player avatar size.
Enable.
And
Yeah.
you change
Enable all player avatar. Yeah.
to names
Just-
only.
Yeah. Okay.
Are any sorry.
Sure.
Are any of us elders?
The elf
'Cause
would
you
have,
said I'm
would have
not
been an elder, but no
Ah,
one,
okay.
no one took the elf, so don't have to worry about that. All right. So we have 2.5 hours to get something done, because the game is a 3-hour game. I've seen a case get done in 2 hours. I've seen it get done in 4 hours. You guys, we will move through. I will, if we get towards the end and we're close to finishing stuff, you will see me hand wave to get to the ending there if you guys are close enough. So just be prepared on that score. One of the things I do want to say, and it was a good question about the stunts, is I'm running the version of Fate that I'm comfortable with. There are a lot of different flavors of Fate. So if I'm doing something differently than you're used to with it, feel free to ask after we're done with the scene why we're doing something in a particular way or how you would carry that out. Because I have played with other people who have a different approach to things. So fair enough on that score if that occurs. The other thing I want to say is just a very brief thing. Chris has heard me say this yesterday. One of the things that I got when I ran at Gen Con this year, I ran for Games of Demand, and they had a system, something that's called the X card. The X card in the actual physical space is a literal card with an X on it. Here, it's basically if you can send me an X card in chat. An X card means if we hit something that you're uncomfortable with at the table, a topic or an event or some commentary that you're uncomfortable with, you can send that to me and we'll move past that. We'll kind of put that aside and we'll move on. It can also be, if something in the game is just generally bothering you about how things are going on. And that seems a little abstract, but let me give the concrete example of this. I've been running with my group locally for years and years and years. And after a particular session, I had one of the players, a guy I've played with for 10, 12 years, come up and say, if you don't stop putting spiders in the game, I can't play. And I just hadn't realized that this is a big guy, terrified of spiders. Hadn't said anything over the years, but it really freaked him out. And we had had a long run with a lot of giant spiders at the table, and it was something that we hadn't been able to get out. So if we do hit something, some trigger or something, feel free to use that X card to send a chat message, and we will move on past that. Any questions before I get rolling?
No, I'm cool.
Yep.
All right.
You seem to be on rails. Go, 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 go. You're on fire. Do it.
Okay. So here's the thing. You guys have come off a 3-day vacation. This is your days off. You're on for an 8-day shift and then a 3 days off shift. You don't know why they said it that way. It's crazy. It wears people out. By the end of that 8 days, you're collapsing, and you guys don't have a very nice bunkhouse. It is threadbare. You know that the Charl who oversees your area, you guys used to have a very nice set of quarters, but when he took over, he sold that and built this shabby place down here for you. And it is that morning. You guys drag yourselves in to your briefing, and your sergeant is there. Her name is Adara Delastus. She's old. She's old and ancient. She is wrinkled. She's been around the city 90, 100 years. She's human. Got the sort of face that is filled with lines of anger and hatred, as a sergeant should have. Yet she has her hair, great mane of still bright lion red hair. And she will motion to you all to sit down. She gestures. You guys have a group of 3 essentially slackjaws. They are foot soldiers that you can use to do things. They sit down at the back and immediately go to playing cards. And she will give you the briefing and the cases. And she will say, Charl Naleg send you his greetings. I should note that the 5th Swords, one of your rivals, took down Gentleman Lascelles, vampire thief.
No way.
Yeah. Quick, it's another feather in their cap against us. You should note we had a freak magic storm come through. A lot of rain hit. When you're going around the next few days, you're going to have mud everywhere. So be on the safe side. Keep an extra pair of boots with you. You may have to pull some carts out, just to give you a heads up on that. In spite of all that rain, the cult of the Swan Damsel, they're doing their big festival up at the Pinnacle. Normally we would be covering that, but Direlon's Devils pulled some strings, and they're going to be doing guard duty on that, so no good free food for us this time. Anyway, be aware that the corpse coin block, because of that, is probably going to be hard to get around. If you're patrolling around, you're going to want to make sure that you're accounting for that jam up around there. All right. So here's the things. I got 3 cases that are hot. You guys need to pick one to get working on. You're going to have to do all of them, but pick which one you want to do first, and you're going to want to finish that out. So first of all, we have problems with adventurers down here, murder hobos. Normally not that big a deal. They come down here, they check, they think that maybe through some of the broken tunnels and stuff they can go and find treasure. They generate some coin. Usually we get novices. Usually they'll get mugged and they head on back out. Usually. But over the last few weeks we've had more adventurers than normal turning up dead. Clearly rolled and stripped and kiboshed in the back alleys or something like that. It's getting to be a problem, and it means that we have to pay to have them bagged up and sent off. And again, usually wouldn't be that big a deal. We just would put more attention on it. But there was a noble's son who came down here. He'd hired an expert, quote-unquote, guide, a more veteran adventurer, to bring him down here so he could taste the adventurer's life. Well, that guide, we found him dead in an alley. Looks like they were rolling him, but only got halfway done with it. And the young noble, we don't know where he is. Their parents are putting pressure on the Sharl, and the Sharl's putting pressure on us. So that's case number 1. Find out what's going on with that, with the adventurers, and find out what happened to the son and this young, stupid noble. I'm assuming he's dead. They usually end up dead. If he's not, that'd be even better. And if you can make it so he's not dead, I don't mean through magic, you know, if you can find him alive. That's number 1. Number 2, we've had some fires of late, and the vigilance, they're the firefighters that work around in the neighborhoods. They've been having some kind of territorial dispute. So there've been some outbreaks and stuff. Last night, though, we had a big fire hit a massive warehouse down here. There was a merchant around that had been planning on kind of setting up operations down in here, you know, kind of expanding some trade and so on. Anyway, his warehouse got hit. He's freaked out. We don't know if it was arson. We don't know if it was magic. We don't know what it was. If it's a fire elemental that's on the loose, we need to cage that. If it's just some drunk mage, then we need to bust some heads on that score. If it's just a fire and the vigilance didn't do their job, then we also need to check on that. And the last one, I kind of almost don't even want to mention. We've had a series of thefts, of break-ins, that maybe there's a ghost involved. People say they see a ghost. They say it's a haunting, and I normally ascribe it to that, but then afterwards they say that stuff was stolen. There's been some faces, figures at the windows. I don't know if it's a specter, a ghost, a ghoul, you know, or, you know, a wraith or whatever. I don't know those things. But I do know that if it is one, we got to go hire a prelate or exorcist and have them come down here and take care of it. So I'm hoping it's not. I think it's probably just somebody doing some jackass stuff and has got something, some magic item or something that's letting them, you know, look like a ghost while they're stealing stuff. So that's the last one. Go and check on that, find out what's going on, get it set. Any questions?
Yeah. Noble.
Okay.
Noble. What's his name? And when he go missing?
The noble's name is a kid named Actiernan. Let's see here. What does it say? The guy who was his guide who got killed is a guy named Kajarin Tan. That happened the night before last.
2 nights ago.
Yep. Anything else?
Yeah. Do you have a contact in the vigilance fire group in case you do find something out?
Well, the vigilant who that oversees that is Baza, her people. She would be the one that would have been overseeing the warehoused area. So that's the person you want to talk to.
And the break-ins, what was the latest one, or someone we can speak to at least?
I'll give you a couple of names, and she'll sketch down a couple of the locals that got robbed and hand you off those.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have to pick which case you want to do.
I think finding the novel is the most important.
Yeah, but people die in the dusk all the time. I mean, we should probably figure out what's far more important than that. Blowing up the warehouse is losing economy, And there's something going around setting fires to things. Best take it out as quick as we can.
Yeah, my concern-
Or we can split up and try and do all three. Oh, okay, maybe not.
One case.
Efficiency is frowned on, yeah.
Yes.
Well, in that case, let's solve the one that we think we can solve fairly quickly, and then move on to the next. Or
This one's
suggest, guys?
fairly quick. Well, what if we find the noble half dead? Or half alive?
Then you've half succeeded.
Yeah, okay.
My vote's in a warehouse. What do you guys think?
I'm inclined to look for the
I'm fine
noble
with the
case.
warehouse.
I think warehouses sound good.
All right, let's do that then.
Okay, I'm
Who's
hearing 3 warehouses. All
Let's
right.
win.
Noble. Missing noble.
Well, it could be that the undead noble accidentally set it on fire. Otherwise, all 3 cases could be connected.
The undead noble setting warehouses on fires and then robbing places as a ghost.
Okay, how about this? How about we go to the warehouse and we ask around? If we can't get anywhere, we've still got half the day left, and go to the scene of the crime for the noble. How's that?
That seems like a
Okay.
plan. All right. So typically how I do this is I'm going to cut to the scene, and you guys can decide how you want to look into things, whether you want to pair up and do your investigation. I take the sort of gumshoe approach to things with most stuff. If you're looking into a particular detail, you say that you're investigating, I'll give you basic information, and then we'll make a roll to see if you get additional information. So that's generally the approach that I take with things. So you guys will head through town. As Adara said, the streets are muddied. You can see that the rain has washed all the dirt and filth out towards the middle, so you're kind of having to walk along the sides, but that's of course where people dump the slop onto the street. So you've got sort of sets of different rivers of various consistencies and smells that are going on through here. It's a mix of tightly built, close buildings and more open space here. You can hear off in the distance the sound of music. It does sound like the festival for the Swam Damsel is starting up. And you guys will make your way over to this area that seems to be more merchant-oriented. At least the sort of the pawn shops and basic supply places, and you will see that there is a essentially set of ruins there. Looks like it would have been a sizable, substantial warehouse, and it is clearly burned to the ground. There's the basic sort of outline of the building, a few wall sections still standing, but it is definitely completely destroyed. It looks like total devastation for it, which does seem a little unusual. So here you have local people, neighborhoods, you've got the merchant owner, you've got the vigilance, are the sort of the 3 obvious things on the table. How do you guys want to approach this? How do you want to split up? How do you want to do things?
All right, lads. I think we should go speak to Baza because she's the vigilant group in charge of this area. If anything else, she can tell us how the fire spread, or at least tell us more about the fire than we'd know. But that's my suggestion.
Okay.
What about the rest of you?
Well, so let me write this down. So Tink, you say Bataza you want to go talk to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Right. Well, I think you should take a look at the warehouse and just examine it for any clues, any indication of where the fire started, what was stored in the warehouse, anything that seems out of place or unusual.
Okay. So Ishtavan is warehouse checking. Okay. What about the rest of you guys?
Yeah, I'd like to go talk to the merchant, see if pump him full for information, see if he owed anyone.
Okay. Father to the merchant. Okay.
I'll go with him.
Okay.
I'll go with the father.
All right, and we're going to send then Finley with that, and that leaves me with Nikephoros. What do you want to do?
I'll follow into checking out the warehouse, I suppose.
All right. Let's start with the warehouse investigations here. Istvan and Nikephoros, why don't you guys both make investigation rolls?
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I'll...
So 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And Nikephoros?
Sorry. -2, it looks like.
Okay. And what's your...
Do you have what's your investigate skill?
I don't have an investigate skill.
So we'll do you as notice. What's your notice?
I don't have a notice skill.
This is the guy who is dedicated to punching things.
Yeah,
Slumming it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it is a thing, Nikephoros, you kind of follow along behind Istvan. Seems like the right thing to do. It looks like a burned building to you.
Yes.
It looks like it must have been really hot. And just judging from the outside, kind of looking out around, either the vigilance didn't get here on time at all, or they didn't do anything. That's your assessment there. Seem reasonable?
Seems like it burnt down, Padre.
Istvan,
Yeah.
you will take a look around. You have a better sense of the things, and you'll kind of trace the outline of this warehouse. It must have had a substantial stores in it. The shelvings, it looks like they definitely a large room. You will, the detail that will most strike you is as you get towards the very middle of the building, there is a circular section of the ground there, maybe about 10 feet across, that is, the quality of the burning there is different. Some of the dirt and so on has actually glassed. The heat here must have been particularly intense, and it looks quite different to you from the rest of the complexion of here. Now with your investigate roll, the success there, I'll let you ask me 2 more questions that I will answer for you about this situation.
Can I tell if there's anything there was anything stored in the warehouse that should not have been stored here? Anything illicit about the warehouse?
Glancing around, checking it, it looks like must have been dealing in more common goods. Olive oil, wine, very basic kind of supplies and things. You don't see any evidence of sort of what you would call smuggler compartments or things like that. It definitely looks like the merchant was working above board. That would be your with your expert eye for these things, you would say that definitely not. Second question.
Right, and that suggests that it wasn't for those sort of ingredients. It suggests that it wasn't the contents of the warehouse that caused it to burn so hot. So
Correct.
let's say second. What else?
come back to you?
Yeah, give me a
Okay.
minute.
What I'll do is I'll come around to you on the next pass here, and we'll come back to that question. We'll go to then the father, Father Duplicitous. So let me ask you, Father Duplicitous, do you introduce yourself as Father Duplicitous, or is there a nickname that you use?
I usually just go by Father.
Okay, awesome. So Father and Finley, together they fight crime. Will go and you will track down the merchant, and you will find him. His name is Abnero the Jackal.
Sounds like an honest sort.
Yes, he will look at you and he will be very pleased to see you, very excited, very effusive. Just, oh, the city guard, thank God you're here. I need this incident occurred. It happened. These things occurred, and I don't know what happened. It needs to be taken care of. And my goods are destroyed, and he'll lean in, and I don't think the vigilance did a good job.
What makes you think that, myself?
Look at the warehouse. He gestures to the big empty space. With your people walking around on the ruins on the inside there. So definitely you have the sense that he is sincerely and truly upset about this. How do you guys want to approach this?
Good cop, bad cop?
Well, I think we talk about it. We're not fucking terrorists.
Well, our friends are looking into the warehouse itself. Do you happen to have your books handy?
My books? My books were in the warehouse. They were stored in there. They are caught up in the flames.
You don't keep copies?
You know how expensive parchment is these days? No, I don't keep copies. Who steals books?
Well, you never know.
Telling the truth.
So let's have you, Finley. I'm going to kind of try and do a read on him.
Yeah.
Let's do this as seems like a streetwise roll is a good way to kind of assess him here.
Got a little bit of that. Oh, no.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, not.
You don't. It's hard to read this guy. He's a merchant. They're made of lies, so it's hard to tell the truthfulness of him. The one thing you will notice is that the locals that are around, they're not looking at him with hostility. They're definitely, he's not regarded, as an outsider or an interloper or anything like that.
He might not be a pillar of the community, but he's certainly part of it.
Yes. Father, what do you want to do? What do you want to ask?
Did you happen to notice anyone unusual around your warehouse before the fire?
Let me think. I don't think so. He'll kind of stop and consider that carefully. And he'll go, no. And he says, "Look, I'm paid up with the Thieves Guild. The Thieves Guild sent me a fruit basket. They don't like losing someone who pays them off regularly. They send it with their condolences. So I mean, if no one would cross them, they're the people I pay the protection money to. So if they didn't do it, I don't know who would have."
So what kind of businesses are you into?
Well, one of the things is that I am a man of the people, and so I have been trying to expand into the lucrative trade down here. Most people ignore it, but I am working on setting up a series of delightful wine bars throughout the area here. I'm going to be catering to a crowd that enjoys wine that's been watered down.
What vintages were these wines?
The kind of wine that I speak of, I don't think the word vintage applies to it. Perhaps season. might be a better way to describe it. It is a seasonal wine. Vegetal, in some cases.
Oh, so who's your supplier for this seasonal wine?
And he will describe. Once you kind of get him on merchant stuff, he'll kind of describe the process of this, and you kind of put him a little more at ease. What is the sort of the key thing that you want to learn from him in this conversation there, Father?
Is this a known supplier, a new supplier? Find out if. Let's try to find out who the supplier is and maybe eventually track that back.
Okay. He will give you the details of his olive oil supplier, his wine supplier, that kind of thing. And he'll describe them very generally. Nothing kind of stands out for you as those people being triggers. Like they don't ring a bell for you, but you will have those details in hand. Does that seem reasonable?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let me jump on over to Tink, and then we'll come back around. So Tink, do you want to have Baza sent for to come here, or do you want to go to the Vigilance, essentially clubhouse?
Well, I'll probably have to go to the Vigilance clubhouse because then I can find someone there who actually turned up to actually see the fire. But before I do that, what do I know about the Vigilance, especially Baza's group?
The Vigilance, they are the equivalent of a sort of a kind of a street gang for hire, in the sense that different neighborhoods pay a certain fee to the local vigilance, and the local vigilance keep an eye out for fires, and when those occur, they go and they form the water brigades and so on, and they keep them down, because fire is a pretty significant threat. There are
how many people are in Baza's group? Whatever her name is.
Baza, perhaps a dozen.
Okay.
She's sort of in the mid-range. You haven't heard anything particularly bad about her group or particularly good about her group.
Gotcha.
Okay. So you'll head over there, and why don't you make a notice roll for me?
I don't have notice. Yeah, okay. Straight roll. Let's do this.
Straight roll.
Fortunately, I have exactly 0.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, actually, I just realized something. So one of the things I just now occurred to me is I lumped, for these characters, I lumped notice into investigation.
In that case, I have a 1.
Yeah, so I apologize to you guys on that.
Can I spend a fate point with my trouble to Curious by Far?
Absolutely. Do you want to, to kind of push that up to get yourself to a 3?
Yeah.
Okay, that seems fair enough. So it'll leave you. I'll let you guys track your own fate points. You can do that on paper or however you want to do that. So you kind of hear that there's definitely singing going on, that there's definitely a rowdy celebration, and we're talking mid-morning, but there's definitely the sound of kind of a party happening here at the clubhouse. And so you'll probably wander up, don't present yourself directly, but kind of wander around, and eventually kind of wander in, and you will see that there are a couple of vigilance sort of at the back door of the vigilance place, and they are drinking from wineskins, and they are very clearly drunk at 10 in the morning. And they will hey, and they'll hold out a wineskin to you for you to take a drink.
Hey, yeah, wine. Give me that. Oh yeah, woo.
Okay.
We're celebrating, boys.
And you'll look past them, and you can see that there are several casks of wine and jars that are sort of stuffed into the back room of this clubhouse.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take one of those. Like wineskins. Like, yeah, wow, woo, yeah, wee. And I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna walk in.
Okay.
We had a party, guys.
You wander on in here. It looks like you got a 3, so we'll say that's that. So it looks to you like there are all kinds of wine casks and jars of olive oil and so on, and a lot of them have scorch marks on them, and they've kind of been stacked up back here, and the vigilants are drunk enough that they're not paying attention to your passing through.
Okay, can I note what kind of barrels they are, or some kind of identifying stuff on them?
Absolutely. You will probably see the mark that has a little, like a jackal's head on a number of these barrels.
Boy, this isn't suspicious at all. Guys, I see some barrels. They've got a jackal on there. I'm not quite sure who to blame for this. Is Baza there?
So you will wander through, and you can see that in the main room is another half dozen of these drunken, rowdy, armed with light weapons gang members, as well as the older Baza, with her sort of dirty blonde hair. She's in her mid-30s, one eye missing, the couple of fingers gone from some street fights. She maybe looks a little bit less drunk than the others. Are you trying to blend in, or what are you doing? How are you presenting yourself?
Okay, do I have those? You said we have, like, these busybodies who stay with us, right?
You have 3 slack jaws. I will assume that they are outside.
Well, okay. In that case, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. In that case, I'm just gonna walk right up to Baza. I'm gonna walk right up to Baza.
Okay. And she'll look at you and kind of narrow her eyes, and she'll go, "Who the hell are you, gnome?"
Hey, what are we celebrating? The wine's really good.
No. I asked you a question. Who the hell are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Cantor Stink. Nice to meet you.
Well, and that's supposed to mean something to me? She says that in that way that you'll see the 6 guys in here kind of lean forward, kind of narrow their eyes.
Well, no, unless you've done something that you consider a crime. Have you?
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
I'm with the police. Just town guard.
There's a pause there that she kind of clearly stops to consider that.
And then I'm going to lean forward as she says this and be like, so tell me something. If a town guard happened to walk right into the middle of you guys having a huge party, probably violating 5 different kinds of laws, probably wouldn't want to mess around with him, would you? Can we talk?
Why don't you make a charm roll for me, Tink?
Okay, let's do this thing. Oh god, I just realized my charm is 1. Shit. Things I need to look up before I start playing the game. Oh god. Okay, can I spend a fate point to reroll that? Because sincerity opens the way.
Absolutely.
Woo! Oh, please God, don't be another -2. Another -2! I'm just destined to roll bad for this.
I'm surprised you didn't go for the +2, so your total is a -1.
Yeah.
And
because my total had been a 1, and I was like, it's no point, must re-roll.
She will stand up, and she will say, kind of look around and say, "Looks like you're alone."
And it looks like you're within 5 meters of me. Also, I'm not drunk.
Okay. So you want to switch to more of an intimidate on this at this point?
Yeah, fuck it, why not? Go for broke.
Okay. What do you want? How do you want to do that? What's your approach with that? What is it that you are using to intimidate? If you look at your skill set.
Okay. I'm a healer, right?
Yep. And a martial artist.
And a martial artist. Can I just sort of lean forward, like, so as she says, looks like you're alone. I'll just sort of like flex a bit, just take off my shirt so it shows my bulging muscles. I'm gonna lean on the table and be like, looks like you're within 5 meters of me.
Okay.
And just
let's-
look perfectly calm, just looking straight at her, because there's no other target for me right now but her.
Okay, let's do physique roll. This is
Okay.
physique used as intimidate.
Oh God, please do not roll so badly, Lloyd, this time. Come on. The dice are just not with me today, but that's a 4.
That's a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, well, believe me, that's a 3 margin of success. There is that moment when you take that off, and
Mhm.
you know, probably with your guard jacket on, you can't tell, but you are a buff little gnome. You know, magical steroided up gnome, and you'll take that off and flex, and there is that sort of pause from these very drunk 16 and 17-year-olds will kind of pause, and she'll go,
I'll be like, seriously, sit down. Let's talk.
with a 3 success, she will stop, and she will sit back down. And we'll come back to you in a minute, okay?
No problem.
All right, let's go back to the ruins, back to then Nikephoros and Istvan. What do you guys want to do now?
Okay. Well, I guess I still have the one question. So
Absolutely.
Does it look like this glassy, the very hot part of the fire? Does that look like something an elemental would have left? Is that what we're dealing with?
It definitely looks different from the texture of the fire elsewhere. It's so hot and it's so contained to that spot that it smells of magic to you. It smells of something distinct and magical and different. It looks like the fire hit there and then moved out to the rest of the building. That elemental you're uncertain about, but definitely a magical.
Okay.
Does that seem like a reasonable answer?
Right.
Okay.
That's a reasonable answer. So, I guess the next thing that I'm curious about is, did this guy have enemies? Was he setting up a business that would compete with someone who would want to get rid of him?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm going to use I've got my street network. I've got a lot of contacts, so I'm going to sort of get the word out in the street. I want to know who might have it in for this guy.
Okay. Let me have you make that roll with your streetwise.
Streetwise, yes. So that's.
And I'm going to come to you in a second, Nikephoros.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mispronounce made-up names all night.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm
good
thinking.
roll.
Nice and easy.
You will get back.
Right.
You have the network of people. You get back fairly quickly. That despite his name, Abnero is respected. People like him. The Thieves Guild are actually actively have people out trying to figure out if somebody burned the building because he's a paying customer. Any people that he has as enemies are just moderately disgruntled. It doesn't look like he has anybody that would actively wish this on him. Nobody that you can think of that would hire somebody or would do that. That does seem to you like a dead end. Does that seem reasonable?
Okay.
Okay, Nathaniel, how do you want to approach? You've kind of looked around the building now. What do you want to do?
I tell Istvan it doesn't seem like much of my bailiwick. I could definitely look into finding the criminals who did this and punching them.
Okay. The punching them has to come after the finding them part. So, do you have any suggestions for how to do that? Or we could just walk around punching people at random until we get the right one.
Eventually, you'll find the right one.
Right.
Which is my usual plan B, but I think we should take the plan A for the president. Actually, see if we can figure out who did this.
You have some modest social skills. Is there anything you want to do with that?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
In the midst of the ruins.
Well, you could certainly, if you want to move off from there, you're certainly welcome to. Don't want to lock you into a particular scene.
Mm-hmm.
Or should I
Well,
put pause and we'll come back to you, or
no, Ishti, investigate away.
he's gone and he's talking to his street network as he's doing that. Do you want to
Oh,
just tag along with him, or do you want to go and talk to other people? How do you want to do that?
I guess I'll go. Is there anyone in the area?
Oh yeah, it's a building's burned down. You know, the neighborhood's out. They're watching all of this with.
Yeah, I mean, you could just go and talk to the neighbors and see if they have anything that they might have seen, or if they know anything about the situation.
Do some.
Some simple detective work.
Right.
I'll talk to the neighbors about it.
Okay. Why don't you make a charm roll for me? That's you've got a +1 in that, and that seems like a decent approach.
Nope.
Ooh.
0.
We're just not hot on the rolls today.
Well, it is fate dice. A lot of people kind of, when they get the sense that you're the city guard, and they do kind of avoid you, talking about some of the things. One old guy will come over to you, and he will say, young man, right? You're a man,
Yes,
right?
old stuff.
Yeah. I want to tell you what I saw last night.
Tell me. Looking
Yes.
welcoming.
And he leans forward and he puts his hand out.
Oh.
Money.
You thought your hand.
I take out a copper piece. Yes. It's all about money.
So is a copper piece a lot, a little? How are you dropping this for him?
Enough for him.
Love the money.
So just the most minimal amount to extricate the information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He takes it. He looks at you, bites it. He'll say, grudgingly, because it's still a copper, he'll still be able to buy some watered down wine. Last night, as it turned to midnight, I saw a great streak of green fire that fell out of the sky and struck the warehouse. It came down from the heavens itself, and it struck the warehouse. And for a while there was a glow of green, and then that turned to the red of the flames of the fire. And then I went inside because it was hot out.
Green fire.
Don't forget a light wrap.
Yes.
Any other details?
Not for you, Skinflint. And he'll go back in his house. So we'll come back to Father and Finley, and Abnero is there. Has given you the information on the merchants, and his contacts and things like that. What else do you want to do? Continue with him or move on to something else?
Well, I had prepared a rousing sermon from the Inky God's Psalms on keeping copies of your books, but I guess we'll back pocket that for now.
Okay.
So the contacts came back and he's pretty well respected. The Thieves Guild is actively searching for him. Run for the perp. We didn't really learn much of use from him. So.
You could finish up with him and move on to another avenue of
Yeah,
investigation.
let's go ahead and finish up with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you will thank him. You'll reassure him that you're on the beat. Why don't you make a simple? Do you have charm or even deceive to kind of convince him that you guys are really gonna track this down?
That were legit.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got deceived.
All right.
That works.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Damn.
So you will
To the name.
reassure him, bluff him that yes, you guys are. Oh yeah, we know exactly what we're doing. We've handled this kind of thing all the time, and he will listen, and he definitely calms down. He's not going to raise a fuss on this, and he seems reassured. So, what's your guys, Finley, Father? What's your next avenue investigation then?
What do you think, Finley? See if there's anyone in the wine bar business.
That's kind of what I was originally thinking, is who doesn't want that venture of his to succeed?
Mm-hmm.
So we can streetwise around looking for that.
Okay. Which one of you wants to do that sort of rundown?
Let's go do that.
So streetwise roll?
Yeah.
Ooh, ow.
Damn.
It's when you talk to people, it's like they don't even know what a wine bar is down here. It's all taverns and ale houses and places where they give you beer. And that's a legitimate sort of location type for down here. And you go in and say wine bar, and they're like, "What?"
What? Why would somebody do that?
Turned down for what?
That's your sense of that. What about you, Father?
My father is definitely better with books and bureaucracy. Maybe I'll check. Maybe actually, let's do this here. I think we will tag an aspect here. Can still pull a few strings and see if there's anyone in the vigilance that might be a little bit bent. Might have maybe some skin in the game on some wine, local bars.
Okay. So what skill do you have streetwise?
Here we have. I've got investigator commerce.
Okay. Let's have you actually make that as an investigate, and you can tag the aspect to give yourself a +2.
Okay.
Or re-roll, depending on how badly you roll.
Yeah, we'll decide which way that goes after I blow this roll.
Okay. Fair enough.
Or not blow that roll.
Damn.
That's pretty good.
So you will talk to some people. You'll be asking about things and kind of asking sort of cross-line to the vigilance, and you will definitely get some local merchants around here, and they will say a couple of things to you. One is that they're pretty sure they saw some of the vigilance arrive and move some things out of the warehouse while it was still burning.
So they weren't overly concerned with actually putting the fire out.
They'll say they did end up doing that, but the fire wasn't in. It looks like it didn't get to some parts of the warehouse, and they looted it. We didn't want to say anything because we don't want to cross them, but you should know that. The other thing is, they'll say, is there's a thing they do when there's a fire. They'll let people go. Scavengers. They have some people that they know that are scavengers for loot and things that will pay them coin to let them go through the ruins afterwards. and we definitely saw them do that last night. After the fire was done, there was some coin exchanged.
There was some pre-looting.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely points some fingers as to where the wine went.
So that's what you will get from them. We cut the scene. We do the pan, the wipe to still the tension of the six sort of drunk vigilance. They're leaning back a little bit more, and Baza has sat down, still trying to demonstrate her command of the situation, but she's crossed her arms, and she has benevolently sat back to give you her attention. This is her house, so that is just a little bit to her advantage in this situation. But she will say, go on.
Okay, I'm gonna reach into my coat and pull out a pipe, and then I'm gonna light it while talking. So, Bazara, mind if I call you Bazara? I mean, we're practically friends at the moment. Let's
I would, except my name is Baza.
Sorry, my gnome Tom can't really understand. I do apologize. No, I'm genuinely sincerely apologizing for that. I'm sorry. Let's go over what we know. Warehouse burnt down just pretty much like yesterday. Would it be yesterday? Yeah, it'd be yesterday. Last night, burnt down. Owner looks really worried about that. You are responsible for your people for making sure fires in that area is taken care of. Am I right? You don't have to answer. It's fine. Just a conjecture. Just interrupt me when you think I'm doing something wrong. I come back to find that you've kind of done your job. I mean, the fire was out now, and it's fine. But you're in here celebrating with a whole bunch of wine cases that probably, most certainly, were not here last time anyone was around. Now, this can go one or two ways. This has to take a puff. Now, we can do I can take you all to the station. We can put you all through theft. They go no problem with it. Everyone gets worried. Or you can tell me what I want to know, and you can ensure that certain barrels are returned to the place that they were left, to the person who owns them, by today, by sunset, and we won't be hoping that your rivals will be taking over your spots. I think that's fair, don't you?
Make another charm roll for me.
Oh, god damn it, I'm so bad at charm. Fuck, charm.
You don't have any aspects to tag on that, do you?
No, I have sincerity, and that's because I'm being sincere. But it's not gonna matter. It depends how bad I roll or not. So let's do this. +1, already written in.
Oh.
2.
Yeah, that's better.
It's better.
She says, it seems to me, Tink, is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tink.
It seems to
Cantankerous are my enemies.
Well, it seems to me, Tink, that you have stated the situation correctly. The fire happened just a short time ago, and of course, we haven't yet had a chance to speak with the fine merchant Abnero the Jackal to tell him about the wine and olive oil that we were able to rescue from his burning building.
Oh, was that his name? Huh. I didn't even know that. Thanks, appreciate that. So, since we're all being cooperative, why don't you tell me everything from the top that you know, and we both won't have more jail cells filled with your men.
Fair enough. Certainly, we had been planning on delivering the goods to the merchant this afternoon after things had settled down. So it's not a problem, I assume.
I pour myself a glass of wine.
Yes. So some of my men might have been overly enthusiastic with the bounty that arrived for them. Fair enough.
Some.
So let's not point fingers.
No offense, but I fully believe that the dust cannot function without everyone giving everything they can to society, and you are doing your best to give to society. And as long as you stay on the side of the law, that's how it will be.
Fair enough.
So,
we arrived,
like I said,
we arrived at the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
The fire was raging. we saw that we had a choice between trying to slow what was an intense blaze. We certainly weren't going to be able to contain it, or we could attempt to salvage some goods for the merchant. And we took the later option, and we salvaged goods, and we brought them back here. As soon as we got goods out, we then turned to containing the fire so that it did not spread beyond the warehouse. And I sincerely apologize, Officer Tink.
Just Tink, please. We're friends. We're friends.
Just Tink. Good.
Just Tink. It's fine, Baz.
I sincerely apologize for not being quicker on the draw to report the incident to the guard.
So you're telling me all that you did was take the wine, bring it here, and that's it? That's all you know?
Absolutely. And we're slow on the draw to report that, and my men drank more than they should have, and I will make sure that Master Abnero is reimbursed for that.
Who turned up at the location? Were you there?
I was there, yes, along with all the men.
Okay, tell me about the fire.
It was strange. We've seen arson before. It usually comes from the outside, someone breaking in, pulling open a door or window, lighting on the inside. It seemed like something caught fire in the middle of the building and spread out.
Now, Baz, can I call you Baz? It makes it easier on my tongue. I do apologize.
Fair enough, Tink.
Now, let me just be clear here. The longer this investigation goes, the more people are going to ask me some questions. The more people ask me some questions, the more I'm going to have to bring them over to you. The more people ask you any questions, things get a little bit messy, and I don't want that, you don't want that.
No.
Are you sure there is nothing else you can tell me right now that happened? Things you saw, people you spoke to, any deals you made, anything at all?
One more
if you've told me everything,
one more charm roll here.
Oh, damn, I knew this is going to be the big one. This is it. If I fail this one, I've lost the case, guys. I'm sorry. Here goes.
Uh-oh.
It's a 1, and you know what? I want to make sure there's absolutely nothing left, so I'm going to blow my last fate point on this to use sincerity opens the way.
I love it when I hear people say blow their last fate point. It's my favorite.
Let's do it.
You know, I may have left out one detail.
Oh, scandalous.
No. It slipped my mind until now. There's a former vigilant who retired from the service, who sometimes comes and watches the fires, and afterwards sometimes he goes and looks around the ruins to see if there's anything that's been anything salvageable. If you take my drift.
I think I got you.
Yes, and this gentleman we let go in because he's an old friend of ours by the name of Dokram.
Dokram, huh?
But that's the only thing otherwise that I can think of.
Where can I find Dokram?
Dokram's probably over, and she'll give you a neighborhood a ways away. There's a tavern there. His girlfriend has an inn of kinds, a kind of a bakery / inn that's over there.
What's her name?
Her name, and she'll kind of look around, and one of the guys will say Sindel.
Thanks, Holmes. So we tried this wine. It's really good.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And she will kind of wrap that conversation in the sense that she's going to return the wine. She has given you what she has, and they are pouring things back into barrels even now.
I'm going to get up and be like, Baz, it's been a pleasure. I sincerely hope you keep doing your work to the community, and only your work to the community from now on. The god is watching. Have a good day.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna, if I may, assume that you guys meet up after this. Does that seem reasonable?
It's
Yes,
reasonable.
fair.
Okay.
Oh my god, guys, I almost died.
Looks like you can use a drink. I know of a guy who's going to start a wine bar.
No more wine, please. I genuinely thought I was not gonna die. Woo! So let me tell you what happened to me. So, I give them the lowdown. And anyway, what I've discovered from that is hopefully they'll return the wine to this jackal person, so at least he'll be happy. And Dokram was the last salvager who went in after the fire went down to see if he found anything important. He may have seen something, he may have not, but it's a lead.
Right. Well, we found out from investigating the warehouse that it was definitely magical in origin. Some sort of spell or elemental started the fire.
Green fire,
Yeah,
Oh,
green
fire.
flames. Green flames, yeah.
according to a
Green
little old
flames?
man.
Yeah.
Do I
Greedy
know
little
any
old man.
Francis, do I know any magic that does that?
Let me see. I think you have. Let me check your skill list here for Tink. I'll let you make a magic roll.
Okie doke.
You think Laura could determine?
Sure, I'll let the lore roll. These are difficult checks.
I'll go for a more check. See if I
Okay.
can
There's nothing.
figure this out.
3 for me.
Oh, there's 2 L's, not 2 O's.
Okay. And the lore check.
Not really. Okay.
There, if something came out of the sky, green flame, that coloring doesn't suggest like an elemental. It suggests something other, some other odd magic. However, one of the things is looking at the way that the city is in the pit and the sort of direction. You don't think it's that anyone fired a spell down into the building. The arc that the witness that Nicephorus spoke with indicates a sort of a straight fall down. So it doesn't seem like a rogue mage or sorcerer. It does seem like something weird and unusual.
Well, hopefully we'll find out more when we speak to Dokram. He might have found something in the area that brought it back. Could it be that you leave something in the middle of the room and that summons the green fire from afar to that particular spot? Would that work? Like, say you have like a focus, you put it somewhere, you leave it there, and at a specific time it activates and summons the green fire.
It paints
Like a magical homing beacon.
Right.
Kinda.
Or it could be that the warehouse wasn't the target at all. It just struck somewhere in the city at random.
Well, like I said, we'll find out when we see Dokram.
So you guys will head along the streets there, moving and heading over to the neighborhood that they described. And just for the sake of things, I'm going to say that Nicephorus, you're kind of at point, since you haven't had a chance to kind of this has all been very investigative and very looking at things, and you would rather be
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
punching things. Up ahead, you can hear there's like a kind of a hue and a cry, noise, and certainly a disturbance the next block up that at first you thought it was maybe the celebration that's going on a little ways away, but there's actually some screaming and shouts up ahead. What do you want to do?
I'll just wait for the others to. I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
If I hear it, I'm charging straight there.
Okay.
Because fuck it, someone's making noise. What's going on? Woo!
Okay. So let's kind of everybody. We're going to actually kind of do an order on this. Why doesn't everybody make a roll? We'll kind of do it just initiative order for the purposes of doing the sequence here. And
Athletics?
it'll be athletics plus a fate roll, and
Yeah, 0. I'm like, what's that noise? I have no idea. I'm gonna take my time getting there.
The wine got to you.
I'm just really bad at rolling today, guys. I'm sorry. No rolls above 2 today for me.
Okay,
That's it.
so let me
Fuck
quickly
fate.
record
No.
this.
It's not all fun if every roll succeeds.
Yeah, true.
Nika,